get there, but you got to sell it or make it look like we went and got you something, Steph. Let's hope this thing works. And when it's all said and done, we did right by Steiny. We tried to get you what we thought.
Look, everything you say, I disagree with. I just do.
I believe you.
You're still hung up on this everything for Steph. I'm out on that.
Wow, man.
Somebody called in yesterday. It's about the Warriors. It's not about a given player. That's where
when
you
can I,
and
I'm
I
being
are
real. I'm cutting you off. When did this start? I'm being real about it's not about Steph. I'm just asking because
with me?
How dare you? Yes, how dare you? This dude made you from nothing. And he still got you 26 a game. And Steiny, you're acting like he's got the blue placard handicap. Like this dude still can put up 26 and shoot 40% from three. Oh my God, Steiny, I feel like you're
supposed to sabotage 2027? I'm not doing that. I'm not. It would be like, you sound like me back in 90 watching Larry Bird lay on the sidelines and I think next year he's going to be back to where he was in 86. It's like, I don't believe it. Here's the other thing. I don't care if Steph's Michael Jordan. At some point,
wow, man.
And I don't think they owe him anything.
Oh, man.
He's making $55 million
but it's bigger
next
than
year.
That. Yeah, but what's Joe Lacob making? You know what I mean? Like, if we do that. But I hear you. That's nothing compared to what the Warriors are doing. And Steiny, we're talking about an all-time great, man. You cannot pull the plug on trying to do the microwave version of a quick fix. I know it sounds crazy. I don't think I'm by myself. You owe them something. And that's why, and I know there are reports, but I've been bedridden every time somebody's linked to the Warriors. And it may not work if they do try to land a fish, but you got to make it look like you're trying to give Steph some help. That's what this is about, Steiny. He has no help.
Unbelievable. Mike's in Berkeley. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, man, no problem.
Got a couple questions and a quick comment. I promise I'll be as quick as possible. Was Steph Curry a finished product at age 22? Was Klay Thompson a finished product at age 22? And why does Draymond Green get 4 second chances when a guy like Moses Moody hasn't even gotten his first? This guy's gotten garbage thrown at him last year from this coaching staff, and he's shined. He's shined. So my question is, do you think that this guy is in a gym somewhere working 8 hours a day, working on his game, and trying to emerge as the next superstar for the Warriors?
Which player, Kuminga?
Thanks for taking the call.
Kuminga?
Pardon?
Are you talking about Jonathan Kuminga?
Moses Moody.
Oh, gotcha.
Moses Moody.
I believe that.
Kuminga's got a small ceiling. I don't think he's as good as he doesn't have the basketball savvy that Moody does. Not even close. I know they play different positions, but I think Moody's got more upside than anybody on this team.
Wow.
And he's the second most popular player on this team besides Steph. So anyway, I'll take your answer off the air. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Moses.
Hey, Goo, if Steph says to Joe Lacob, let's re-sign Klay, are you re-signing Klay?
I'm being so real with you because it's bigger than basketball now.
Okay.
If he has that card to play.
Still.
And if he told me, but you could listen to what you're saying, that would be big coming from Steph. If I'm Joe and he said it, I would do it. And I gotta tell you this, just to piggyback on my own answer. I think he did that with Draymond.
Oh, how'd that work out?
And there you go.
Exactly. I like the idea. You know what? Maybe it's this. Like you're right. We've never seen anything like Steph Curry before. But the idea, it's not about Steph Curry.
Wow.
I mean, basically when you say it's all about Steph Curry, what you're saying is, to me, this is what I'm hearing, that you're willing to make a move that's a long shot to work out, knowing full well in 3 or 4 years you'll be in a worse position. I'm not doing that. I would not do that. That's just me.
And I'll tell you what, partner, you run the risk of how it looks now on the chessboard of being in that situation and still having Steph Curry. So to me, I don't think you can rebuild or do anything for the future, Steiny, until 30 is gone. And I think that's just the price of doing business. That is the cost of the dynasty.
The Celtics didn't do that with Bird.
Well, they had Len Bias and that was a
San Antonio Spurs allowed Tim Duncan to come off the bench, take less of a role. I mean,
but he's so far from that right now, Steiny. Steph not being a starter and not making the All-Star team. Like, I'm not wearing Curry underwear. I'm being real. And you know what? This is random, but as I was bedridden, I've said it 20 times, I thought of this about just where the Warriors are. Was it really the right move to say night-night to DiVincenzo? Or are you going to look me in the face and tell me, Steiny, Goo, that small potatoes, they couldn't. Just think about the year Dante DiVincenzo had. Was that the right move for the Warriors to say bye? Because I'm thinking, man, had they had a dude that could hit a clutch shot, D up, just scrap, why wasn't he valued?
He had a player option. So he signed a 2-year deal with the Warriors, and he didn't get big money last year, so he had a player option, and he opted out. And he signed for 50-something million. You want him for 50-something million? They can't because they don't have that kind of money. 888-957-9570 is the number. Woo! The off season
is here.
It is here. It's absolutely here. And what are you doing if you're the Golden State Warriors? If you listen to Mike Dunleavy, they can go in any kind of different direction.
I know everything.
Let's go to May in Florida. May in Florida.
Hi, Steiny. Hi, Guru.
Hey.
I'm glad you're doing fine, Guru. I heard you've been down, but I'm glad you're up and about.
I appreciate it.
You're getting strong. Steiny, I want to ask this question about, I don't think anyone asks too much about it. You know, we have the G League, right? And those guys are groomed for moving up to the Warriors bench, right?
Yep.
Okay, we have Santos and we have Canero. They play really well, but they really wasn't utilized that much because of the time of the guys, our starters, playing whatever. But why don't we start in-house? I was always taught that if you start in-house and work on what you got, and we need a big person, we really need a center. And we don't have all that much money to give out to everybody. Why can't we work with that to see what you got? Because those guys are good. I'm talking about marketing and all these guys. It's going to take at least 4 or 5 players from the Warriors. So what we going to have if we give all these young players up? And the league is young. So what we going to do?
That's a great question.
What do you all think about that?
Well, I'm not keen on moving a lot of the young guys. Now, if there's a right deal out there for one of them, I might do it. But the way I look at it is, if you think moving on is risky, if you think moving on is risky, to me, standing pat is just foolish. It just is. That you can
But making a move for the next 2 years, that's not standing pat to me. That's kind of going all in.
Yeah, and I just, as a basketball strategy, after watching last year, watch the whole year play out, and then watch the playoffs, as a basketball strategy, I'm not getting older. That's my feeling. I think it is unrealistic to believe that 3 or 4 35-year-olds and above are going to be able to last the season and then play their highest level of basketball in April, May, and June.
See, I don't think you can get better without getting older from where you're at now. You obviously you'd want something to drop from the basketball skies of a youngster in his prime, and you could get him. Is
Steph getting better or worse?
He's getting worse. But
is Draymond getting better or worse?
Worse.
Okay, is Klay getting better or worse?
Worse.
What about Pajemski? What about Moody? Yeah. What about Trace Jackson
Davis? How much better for the youngsters?
But you know what the other 3 have given you.
championships.
Okay, you're living in the past. You just are, and that's fine. You're living in the past, it feels like. And that's okay.
But you understand the premise of
I don't, because
in order to get better, they're going to make a move. If they did, most likely the number is not going to be a 25-year-old. It's going to be a 30, an older guy. But Steiny, the age is just on the piece of paper, the birth certificate. Jimmy Butler can still hoop his ass off. Paul George with Dre and Steph, that would be a problem.
Well, you think it is. You think it would be a problem. I don't.
So what do you want? What would you? I'm asking, and you told me. But Steiny, what would you like to really see them do?
I'd like to see them actually try to add a guy who's in his prime. Somebody who's 27.
So he don't have to be a superstar. Doesn't have to be.
No. In fact, like I've said this a million times, if Klay walks, I don't necessarily think we're worse. We might be, but let's see what Moody and Podziemski can do. There are other things outside shooting on a basketball court. I mean, Moody and Podziemski are better defensive players than Klay right now. Podziemski's
I give you that
5 times the creator. You know, Moody's better defensively. 888-957-9570. I want to play some of this Bobby Marks. Let's deal with Klay first. Bobby Marks on where Klay could go, if anywhere.
He's a 2-year guy. I'm on a 2-year contract. I think you can take the hardline stance if you're Golden State and say we're not bidding against anybody or we're not competing against anyone, or you can take the approach that some teams have done in the past where they're saying, we know that there's a limited market out there, but we still think this player has value and we still want to reward that player. So I think, and that's why I said, you have to be careful if you're Golden State here, because who's to say that Klay Thompson goes sign somewhere for $13 million? I wouldn't throw that out the window there. So listen, I think the best for him to probably maximize if he's looking for a big contract, it is probably in Golden State. It is probably somewhere between maybe $20 and $25 million. It's just a matter of if that's the direction he wants to go.
Bobby Marks.
Oh, man.
Bobby Marks.
And again, Steiny, I know I'm just a regular Samaritan here. How can I feel bad but it's basketball bad. So just a month ago, we were all talking, or the streets were, reporters, oh boy, the market for Klay, he might get 30. Not only are the Warriors or his current team, they're not having conversations. Now they're talking about the market is drying up, like other teams aren't willing to go there with them. And then I think of 3 the hard way. It might be the number annually, his role, and then the years. That's a recipe of night-night. If all 3 of those boxes are if they're that far off, that would explain what's being reported. Nothing's happening. I really believe they could come with the right number for Klay and say, we want you coming off the bench. And he's like, oh, hell nah. That's a monster in itself. And Ayuk's is just about meet my number. Klay's is about, I'm just thinking, the role as well.
If I'm Klay, I'm not coming back. Why would I come? Why? Let me ask you this.
Let me ask you this. I'm with you, man.
People, why would Klay want to come back?
I told you I thought he was gone. Because of I want to wear one jersey. If you ask me to answer that's all I have.
And I think that's less important to him than finding a role and getting paid.
And Willard and Dibbs had his dad on. Willard has a relationship with Michael Thompson, Steiny, and I'll never forget it. I didn't get out the card. Thank you, Evan. The way his dad was, I'll use the word guarded about Klay, I really felt like they knew that this can't happen, and right now they're living it. I just feel like it's a matter of time now, days, hours, before we find out he's gone. You're right. Why would a guy that proud, that's climbed the heights that he's climbed with this team, want to just look at what he deems lesser, taking this position for him to be coming off the bench? And he did it and didn't say a word. We knew he hated it, but then he got back in the starting line.
Yeah, and that's almost more of an insult.
No doubt about it.
Thank you. 888-957-9570 is the number. Free agency, I'll tell you right now, it's essentially started. Let's go to Paul in San Jose. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Paul's in
I'm
San
doing pretty
Jose.
good, guys. What about y'all?
Oh, we need answers, man.
So you guys both make valid points, and I'm kind of leaning towards Steiny. I mean, if you look at the West, Guru, be honest. Do you think they can compete with the Wolves' physicality? Do you think they can compete with the Nuggets? Do you think they can compete with I don't know about the Suns, but the West in general? I don't think the Warriors are close to competition. So you have to. I think there's some drastic moves to be made. However, the reason I called is I want to warn Steiny about saying you owe nothing to Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be the Patriots, man. They try to push Tom Brady out for 7 years. He leaves. He wins a chip. And Gillette Stadium was at 30% capacity last year. Do not be that franchise. I understand, yeah, it's bigger than one player, but if you're too hasty about pushing out your stars, I mean, unless you're willing to bottom out and just collect talent, you got to be careful about that.
I appreciate that, Paul. I'm not pushing Steph out. Under what I'm saying is, but I'm also not letting him run my franchise. I'm not trading him.
He's not your number one priority.
I'm not trading Steph. He's got 2 more years left. I'm not pushing him out. I'm not pushing him out at all. But I'm not letting him dictate the direction of the franchise.
Well, that's where respect comes in. It's almost nonverbal. It's like, you know who I am. I'm going Kevin Durant. You know who I am. You know I need something. It's obvious. Everybody can see it. I need some help.
Yeah, we'll try.
If Klay walks.
We'll try. We're going to try, Steph. Now get out of here. Like, seriously. Hey, Steph, we're going to try to make our team better. Hit the pipe.
Okay.
Seriously.
All right. I got some for you.
He's
played the Ramona, the great
a player. Joe Lacob said it himself. They're just players.
But actions speak louder than words. Ramona said, Steiny, and I'm asking you what this word means to you. She said they're aggressive.
You know what? They were linked to Dwight Howard 2 years after Lacob bought the team. That's like the MO. That's what everybody says. He's going to make phone calls. He called LeBron. They're going to look. I'll tell you right now, as long as Joe Lacob owns the team, every time there's action, we're going to hear the Warriors are active.
All right,
they just don't. So what?
I think that means something. Even if,
I don't think it means a damn thing unless they pull something off.
Well, it's the Farhan model. Hey, we tried. We just couldn't get it. Like, I think for fans, it's like, you're telling me there's a chance, but you never, you know what I mean? Like, the optics look good. And I think you need the optics when it comes to Steph Curry and just making sure you're sending him the message like, dude, we know what time it is. We know you're not 25. We know the end is near. You know, I'm talking 2 or 3. We're going to do right by you and try to get you something in here like a Paul George. And if that means you think Curry cares about Kuminga and his, he would never say it, about his next 3 window, hell nah, he's trying to win now.
And that's why you don't let Steph run the franchise.
That's pretty good. No,
so you're right. Steph doesn't give